Hello. In this video, we are going to discuss about the modern methods of performance appraisal. As you can see, the first point is MBO. MBO is management by objectives and is a topic that was conceived by Peter F. Drucker. He is known as the father of management, modern management. And in his book, The Practice of Management, published in 1954, he gave us the concept of MBO. MBO is a strategic model that aims to improve the performance of an organization by defining objectives that are agreed by both the management and the employees. So, what are the targets that we need to have? What are the uh, goals for the particular period? For example, the next 3 months, or the next 6 months, or the next 1 year is jotted down with the agreement of both the management as well as the employees. If you are students, you will better understand with this example. If you are given 3 subjects, for example, English, history, and mathematics, and you are studying this in your school or college, but the syllabus is given to you by the college. You are now not playing a role in deciding what topics you need in any of these subjects, right? Now, say for example, your college is giving you an opportunity to voice out what are the topics you want in your syllabus, what all gaps are there, and how to reduce the gaps and add in more practical exposure to the syllabus given. So this is how MBO works, right? The management and the employees, or in the previous example, the teacher and the student can sit together to decide on what they are going to do for the next 3, 6, or 12 months, right? So according to this theory, having a say in goal setting and action plans encourages participation and commitment among employees. And since you also agreed on doing certain tasks or achieving certain goals within the given time, you will not back away from it. Because it is also your decision, you will be fully committed to participate and accomplish the goals within the given period of time. So this is how management by objective works. So as you can see in this process cycle, the first point is you define the organizational goals, you define the employees' objectives, you monitor their performance continuously, and you also see how well they have progressed. You see how their performance is and you evaluate their performance. You give feedback where they can improve and how to improve. And then the performance appraisal is done. So defining employee objectives here is not simply done by the management alone, but also with the decision and participation of employees. Now, this doesn't mean that all the employees are going to have a say in it. There might be certain representations taken from the employees, and they can decide on everybody's behalf. The next modern method is known as behaviorally anchored rating scales. So this rating scale is similar to the graphic rating scale of the traditional method. Only difference here is that here in each statement is an important dimension of the job performance. Okay. And the behavior of the or the attitude of the employee towards the job is rated here. You can see one example on the right side: attendance, behavior towards subordinates, sincerity, dependability. All this falls under the behavior towards the job. Another example here for a firefighter, okay, of a fire company. You can see some of the behaviors mentioned down. Let's look into it. So it is categorized as low, average, and high. In the low, you will see the first description is will not change firefighting strategy in spite of flashbacks and other signs that accelerants are present, cannot identify location of the fire. So these are certain basic things a firefighter should be able to do in his job. And if he's not able to achieve it, then his performance is low, right? Then cannot tell the type of fire by observing the color of flame. Now, this depends on the experience of the firefighter. A fresher will not be able to identify it easily. With experience, with practice, with exposure, with training given, only they can be able to identify different types of fires on the basis of their colors, right? So that's an average point. Then understands basic hydraulics, again comes an average. Uses type of smoke as indicator of type of fire. So on the basis of how much the smoke is, the color of the smoke, you can be able to identify what the fire is or what caused the fire, right? Then correctly assesses best point of entry for fighting the fire. Wherever the fire has occurred, in whichever building, in whichever part, how they can enter to mitigate the fire as quickly and safely as possible is something that is indicating high performance from the firefighter. Finds the fire when no one else can, right? So this is also again something that indicates high performance from the firefighter. So on these descriptions given here, you can also read up the strategy mentioned on top to get a clearer idea of this example, right? So this is how a behaviorally anchored rating scale would look like, all right? The next one is called assessment centers or ACs. So after training is given to employees, they are onboarded into the organization. They are given a probation period to understand the custom, the culture, the training, the targets, everything required to perform and function in that particular organization. So it is imperative that there has to be an assessment center to identify whether the training has been beneficial for the employees or not, right? So assessment center is used to decide which manager to promote to a higher level. The ratees here are given many psychological tests, management games, presentations, and other exercises, and they are judged by the raters on the basis of their performance in all these areas, right? And if their performance is really good, they'll be getting a promotion soon, right? So that is what assessment center is about. Here is a case study that is mentioned here. You can all take a screenshot and try to work out this case study. The next performance appraisal method is a common method called the 360 appraisal interview. In the 360 appraisal interview, there are a lot of people who are going to rate you. So it could be as a colleague, as a supervisor, it could be as a customer, it could be as a team member, it could be as a peer, it could be as just a staff in that organization. So 360-degree appraisal, a full circle, right? So you can see all the people involved in the feedback, the supervisor, the other superiors, customers, teams, subordinates, peers, okay, and the individual staff. So if I'm the employee, I can give myself the rating as well as my peers, my superiors, my managers, my other colleagues are also able to give the feedback to me. So that was about 360-degree appraisal in very short terms. You can also find more about it in your textbook and in the LMS. So you can read more about 360-degree appraisal method. The last appraisal method is called the HR accounting or cost accounting method. So I'll start with an example here. Say you have a small organization, or as a customer, you're going to a small canteen to have your breakfast, right? So in the canteen, you find 3 people, right? One to take down the order, one to probably cook, and one to probably deliver the food or to give away the food to the customers. So as the owner of the canteen, okay, what would be in the person's mind to hire 3 people and make them work there, right? So say, for example, I am paying 10,000 rupees to each of these employees. Okay, so a total of 30,000 rupees is spent from the owner's side, right? Now, according to the owner, if he has paid 10,000 rupees per month on a particular employee, that employee should work and perform in such a manner that he is able to return either 10,000 rupees or more than that to the employer in that same month. So this talks more about the value that the employee is giving to the organization. Okay, so let's go through some of these points written here. The process of assigning, budgeting, and reporting the cost of human resources incurred in an organization, including their wages, salaries, and training expenses, right? So if I am able to get 10,000 rupees as my salary, I have to give that much value back to my organization. If I am giving 8,000 rupees back as in terms of value or in terms of profit to my organization, I am an underachiever. My performance is not up to the mark. Okay, if I'm giving 10,000 rupees, that means I meet the expectations, I meet the targets, I am able to do good. If I am giving back more than what I am getting from the organization, means my performance is superior. It is good. It is more than average. Okay, it's above average. The second point, the cost invested for employees towards their recruitment, training them, payment of salaries and other benefits paid, and in return, knowing their contribution to the organization towards its profitability. Okay, so this is to understand how much you return back in terms of value, in terms of profit to the organization. HRA is not only involves measurement of all the costs and investments, but also the quantification of the economic value of the people in an organization, right? So this is how much you're worth or how much you're valued in your organization is something that HRA or cost accounting method can tell you, right? So if your value is high, that means you are an indispensable employee in that organization. Without you, certain things cannot be done, right? If your value is low, that means you're someone who can be easily removed, right? Even if you don't go to work, none of the work functions are being hampered, okay? You can see a famous example by Elon Musk, right? He had a secretary who asked him permission to take a few days off, and she went for the vacation and came back, and Elon Musk fired her. So she was shocked and asked, like, okay, this was taken from your permission itself that I have taken this vacation. So even though this is a rather eccentric example or a behavior, Musk fired her because the statement that he said is what we have to highlight here. He said that I just wanted to know whether I can function without you, and I did, right? So I don't need you anymore. So what are you trying to do here? You're trying to identify the value of an employee in the organization. So it helps in monitoring, it helps in decision making, helps in human asset analysis, helps with cost value information about acquiring, developing, training, and maintaining the human resources in the organization. So these are some of the performance appraisal methods. We had discussed traditional methods in an earlier video, and in this video, we have discussed the modern methods of performance appraisal. Thank you.